The time is 5 o'clock, and here's the world news of 5. First, the top stories. FMC Abeokuta says construction work will begin soon on its varsity project. Court stops post-UTME, says only JAM can conduct matriculation examination. State assemblies ask National Assembly to revisit power devolution rules. Nigeria emerges as world's largest importer of petrol. Gunfire and explosion in Burkina Faso capital. China threatens to go to war with Taiwan over link with US. I am Toby Joseph, bringing you the news in detail shortly. The Federal Medical Center in Diaba, Bogota, says construction work will soon begin at its proposed University of Medicine and Culinary Studies at Ajebo near Bogota, the Ogun State capital. The state government had already allocated 170 hectares of land to the medical center for the proposed university project. The hospital's medical director, Professor Dewale Musa Olumu, who spoke on the project during the hoisting of flag as part of activities to mark the 25th anniversary of the hospital, says that contractors will soon be mobilized to the site of the project. Musa Olumu explained that a presidential committee which recently visited the hospital, is ready to provide all the necessary infrastructures to upgrade the medical center into a teaching hospital.
And give us a good trauma center, pharmacy center, and complex of laboratory. He also promised creation of administrative blocks, the office of the medical director and his deputy, and quite a lot of other things. That one is well operated, then we can see that we have reached the institution of business standards because the standard of university, not all the instruments are just of training of medical students, pharmacy, not laboratory technology. Let me say, we are doing the upgrading, getting the students ready to become university.
The medical director laid a foundation for the nurse's house within the hospital complex. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAM) have released the results of the last Saturday's mock 2018 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. A total of 245,753 UTME candidates participated in the examination, which is optional. The board spokesman, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, who announced this, asked candidates to check their result on the website of JAM. He asked them to check the result with a registration number. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has ordered the tertiary institutions, including universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, to stop conducting a post-unified tertiary matriculation examination for candidates. The court declared the post-UTME restored last year is illegal and in violation of Section 5, subsection 1 and 2 of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board Act. Justice John Soho gave the order in his ruling on a suit filed by Legal Defense and Assistance Project against the National Universities Commission (NUC) and the Education Minister to challenge the post-UTME. The judge ruled that only JAM is empowered to conduct matriculation examination and admit candidates into tertiary educational institutions in Nigeria. The presidency has announced plans to establish a police forensic laboratory in each of the country's 6 geopolitical zones to enhance investigation of suspects. Also, a database is to be established in all the police stations to enable the police to track detainees in their custody. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, made this known in Abuja at a roundtable on mapping the process of obtaining bail at police stations. Mustafa, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Secretary to the Government, Olusegun Olukule, also expressed concern over police officers still demanding money for bail from police custody. The state houses of assemblies have asked the National Assembly to revisit the power devolution proposal it rejected in the ongoing amendment of the 1999 Constitution. The state assemblies want the National Assembly to reconsider its position on the proposed power devolution. Chairman of the State Houses of Assemblies, Abdulmumuni Kamba, made the call while submitting to the Senate President Bukola Saraki the amended 1999 Constitution's clauses considered by the state assemblies. Saraki assured that the amendment of the Constitution is still ongoing and that a joint committee of the National Assembly has been set up to look at such areas of differences. Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara backed the state assemblies on the power devolution. while condemning them for rejecting autonomy for local government. A dusk to dawn curfew has been imposed on Bako local government area of Niger State following invasion of the area by gunmen. The gunmen invaded Lemo, the local government area's headquarters, last Wednesday, during which they attacked the divisional police station in the town and freed detainees. The council chairman, John Zaman, who announced the curfew, says it will be indefinite. He directed the council's vigilance outfit to go after the gunmen. The Northern Apex Muslim Organization, Jamaatul Nasr Islam (JNI), has called on the presidency to round up all those found wanting in the abduction of more than 100 students by Boko Haram fighters from the Government Girls Science and Technical College, (DAPG) in Yobe State. The organization, in a statement by Secretary General Dr. Khalid Aliyu, says the buck passing between the police and military over the abduction of the girls is an indication that something seriously has gone wrong. Instead of the investigative panel set up by the presidency, the organization says the presidency ought to have suspended and detained all the security and political office holders found to be negligent in providing security for the abducted students. The organization warns that the abduction will further discourage girl education in the north. You're still listening to the World News at 5 on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next will be your foreign, business, and sport news. Please do stay with us. Gunfire and explosion have been heard near the army headquarters at the French embassy in the capital of Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou. Witnesses have reported seeing armed men getting out of the car and opening fire before heading towards the embassy. Pictures from the scene show a cloud of black smoke rising into the sky. It is unclear who is behind the violence. The National Police have issued a statement saying special forces are in action. A statement on the French embassy's Facebook page said it was not clear which locations are being targeted. It appears to be a twin assault as the city's military barracks and the embassy about 1 kilometer apart. The U.S. Embassy in the city has advised people to seek shelter. Ouagadougou has suffered two major attacks by Islamist militants in the last 2 years. The West African country also saw a fake coup in 2015. The trial for dozens of the alleged perpetrators began earlier this week, but was suspended after defense lawyers walked out in protest against the military court. About 25 people have been killed after a fire ripped through a drug rehabilitation center in Azerbaijan's capital, Baku. Television pictures show flames leaping through barred windows of single-story buildings. 4 people were taken to hospital, and the blaze has not been put out. The cause of the fire is not known. Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev is currently visiting the scene. Asian giant China has warned that it could go to war over Taiwan if the United States passes into law a bill promoting closer U.S. ties with the province. China considers Taiwan an integral part of China. Reports say the bill just needs to be signed into law by U.S. President Donald Trump, allowing officials at all levels to travel to Taiwan to meet their Taiwanese counterparts, permit high-level Taiwanese officials to enter the United States under respectful conditions, and also meet with U.S. officials. China is not comfortable with the bill as it considers Taiwan as ineligible for state-to-state relations and has never announced the use of force to bring the island under its control. China's Taiwan Affairs Office said the bill was a serious contravention of the One China principle. In business, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) says Nigeria has emerged as the world's largest importer of petrol. Also, Nigeria is the only member of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC) importing refined petroleum products. NNPC Group Managing Director Dr. Vikante Balu made this known at the 2018 Oloibiri Lecture Series in Abuja. As at now, Balu says that Nigeria is importing 1 million metric tons of petrol every month. He regards the development, which he blames on the bad shape of global refineries, as shameful for a country that produces crude oil. The organized private sector has protested the new land use charge introduced by the Lagos State government, vowing to resist its implementation. Nigerian Employers Consultative Association (NECA) described the new land use charge as a classic case of insensitivity and gross disregard of the well-being of the corporate and residents within the state. NECA President Larry Eta, addressing a news conference in Lagos, says the organized private sector will do everything, both legal and legitimate, including social resistance, to stop the implementation of the new land use charge. Eta explained that what the new land use charge is asking property owners to pay in form of increase of between 200% to 500% is not only monstrous but callous. According to him, there is no basis for such an increase when the income of property owners is not increasing. Finally, in the world news at 5, sport news. Ahead of the kickoff of the new Chinese Super League season on Friday, Super Eagles captain John Wiggins says he cannot wait for the action to resume. He played an important role in charging to the successful fight to avoid relegation last season and is an integral member of the Chinese club. Mikel, who was ruled out of action for the most part of last season owing to a hernia surgery, joined the Chinese club during the 2017 winter transfer after years at Chelsea. The midfielder is expected to lead the Super Eagles against Serbia and Poland in international friendly matches. Former Super Eagles striker Fernando Adi is set to return to action for his Major League Soccer side, Portland Timbers, after 6 months of a hamstring injury layoff. Adi has been the Portland Timbers' most consistent scoring threat and is the club's all-time top goal scorer. Adi will be hoping to make the team when action resumes in the MLS League on March 4, in a game Portland Timbers will entertain La Galaxy FC. That was the World News at 5, and just before we go, the major stories once again. FMC Abeokuta says construction work will begin soon on its varsity project. Court stops post-UTME says only JAM can conduct matriculation examination. State Houses of Assemblies have asked National Assembly to revisit power devolution clause. Nigeria emerges as world's largest importer of petrol. On the foreign scene, we told you that gunfire and explosion have occurred in Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou. We also told you that China has threatened to go to war with Taiwan over links with US. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you so much for listening. I am Tobi Joseph. Good evening.